Hello and welcome to today's community conversation. Today I'm going to be sharing with you an experience that I just recently had where I completely threw my body out of balance hormonally, and it had nothing to do with food. So hopefully today's little discussion will help you if maybe you are feeling like you're doing everything right nutritionally, maybe you're doing everything right with your fitness, but you're still feeling like your body is a little out of whack hormonally. And I'll share with you exactly what I did to get myself back on track. So if you're new, welcome. My name is Diane Parham. I am the creator of the online course and community, the Intermittent Fasting for Today's Aging Woman. I really do try to very openly share my journey going through menopause, and now as a postmenopausal woman to help you understand maybe your own body and some of the things that could be affecting you so that you can hopefully feel better as you're going through this little journey with all of us. So do me a favor, in the comment section, please let me know you're here. Let me know if you're a graduate of the course or maybe where you're tuning in from. I always love knowing where our community is coming from. And then if you haven't already done so, please take a second to hit that subscribe button or that like button or follow button on Facebook so you'll be notified when I go live or I post any new content. This is a place for everyone. Please feel free to share your experience or ask any questions. That's why we do these live broadcasts. And then I also make sure that I upload them so that you can review them again, or maybe if you can't join us live, you can catch it there. So I am super excited to share this experience with you guys today. So I have been very, very consistent with everything that I have been doing for probably a couple of years now and feeling absolutely fantastic. I'm very diligent about reading labels. I teach that to you inside the Intermittent Fasting for Today's Aging Woman course. I talk about it a lot here. And we also talk about a lot about like what it feels like to be in a state of imbalance, right? And what could be causing that. And one of the beautiful things about intermittent fasting, because we always have to circle back to intermittent fasting, is that when you do absolutely nothing, right? You don't put anything in your body for a period of time, your body does just balance out, right? And it becomes very, very intuitive to what it is that your brain might be deciding and whether your body can handle that or not. So this is one of the little gems about intermittent fasting a lot of people don't talk about, is it does give your body the opportunity to balance out, sort of zero out and reset itself. So when something comes in your body's atmosphere, you'll immediately know, or can pinpoint what is throwing you off. So it's, getting into fall season here. I was shopping at our local central market, which is also known as an HEB in some areas. And I found some candles, right? I haven't been able to really have candles in my home because most candles are soy-based. I've shared with you guys a lot here how soy is that thing that just completely throws me off. And my body is so dialed into it now that I'll immediately know when I get a soy, I call it a soy zap, if I'm out, right? And I share with you guys here how, like when you go out to restaurants, it's really, really important to ask your server what type of oil they use in the kitchen, so you know before you order like what it is you're going to be exposing your body to. And so a little tip about oil is if you go to a restaurant and you ask the server what kind of oil they're using and you're trying to stay away from certain kind of oils, and they come back to you and say they use vegetable oil in the kitchen, you also then need to ask, can you please tell me what type of vegetable oil? Oftentimes oils are in blends, right? And so they can use different oils together and call it a vegetable oil. And that often is how you can put yourself in a complete state of hormonal imbalance if your body is sensitive to things like maybe soybean oil or canola oil, and that causes an inflammatory response. And for me, soybean oil completely throws me hormonally out of whack. And so I'm very, very diligent about that. So I got these candles, right, because they were a beeswax candle. They were very expensive, and I understood that they were expensive because they were a beeswax candle, and I brought them home and had them in the home. I think I burned them one time, and I started feeling a little off. And whenever I start to feel off, I always think, okay, like I do a little inventory, like what's going on in my life, right? And the only thing, well, there's two new things that I added into my life. One of them I'm still testing, so I'll talk about that when I know for sure. But one of the two things I brought into my life were these candles, these beeswax candles. And I immediately started to feel bad, but I hadn't yet made that connection yet because, sometimes you just have a bad day. But the feeling started getting progressively worse, right? So last Monday, I felt amazing. And then Tuesday, it seemed like everything went downhill. I also, you guys know, use the Lumen, right? Which tests my metabolic flexibility. And I had been consistently doing well with my Lumen and making sure all of my things were, balanced out and my body was metabolically in a really good place. And then that started to tank as well. No matter what I did nutritionally, no matter what I did with my fitness, my Lumen numbers were tanking also, which is a sign that your body's under distress, right? And so then from there, I started picking up inflammation, like literally from head to toe. When I am inflamed or I'm out of balance, my entire body swells up. My clothes started feeling differently. I wasn't feeling mentally and emotionally very stable. I was feeling very like moody, which I haven't felt in a very long time. I couldn't focus. So I had a lot of work I was supposed to get done last week. I'm trying to launch a new course and we have our midlife mindset shift course starting. I could not sit down and concentrate enough to even get my work done. Sleep was okay. And I think that was just because I was tired. So I was leaning into getting my sleep, but everything else felt awful. Like my clothes were not even fitting my body. I had so much water. And so I did step on a scale just to see, like, cause I'm always curious. So I can also share the story here. I picked up about 5 pounds almost literally overnight, and it was all water from head to toe. So nothing in my nutrition has changed. Nothing in my fitness had changed. Nothing in any other aspect of my life has changed. The only thing I brought in were these candles. So I decided to take the candles out on Friday. So this is how fast it happens, right? On Friday, I put them in a bag. I put them in a back room on the other side of the house, and I shut the door. The next morning, I started to feel better. Now, when I have this reaction, right, or when you might have this kind of response or reaction, the other things to look for as far as your body goes is I started by Thursday feeling very anxious, like almost like I was having an anxiety attack in my, like, and it was here, like I felt like I couldn't breathe. I couldn't control my heart rate. My heart rate wasn't spiking or anything, but I felt like really anxious and really nervous. Like everything was just completely out of whack. I'm guessing maybe my cortisol levels were also out of whack because everything in my body was feeling distressed. So took them out, I believe Thursday. Friday, I started feeling better. By Saturday morning, all the water weight felt like it was going away. I had an amazing workout, amazing night's sleep Saturday night. And then by yesterday, completely back to normal. All the water weight was gone. Stepped back on the scale. Of course, went back to my normal everyday weights. Lumen numbers came back, blew a 2 yesterday. If you're a Lumen follower, you know what that means. Blew a 2 this morning. So not only do these kind of devices, right, help us with nutrition and those kind of things, but when our body's under distress or when something's going on with our body that makes our hormones shift, we feel it in so many ways. Had I not been so diligent over these past 5 years to pay attention to that, right? Had I not known the signs and signals to look for and to do that physical inventory, I promise you, as a woman who is in perimenopause, menopause, or postmenopause, I would have freaked out and done something radical, probably with my nutrition, or could have easily gone into that self-sabotage type of place. Like, what did I do wrong to gain this weight? Why do I feel so bad? And I never went to that place because I know now how to do this inventory, which is what I really like to teach you guys here, right? So I just self-corrected, took the candles back yesterday because I think I had 3 of them. They were super expensive, $25 a piece, and they were making me sick. What I realized in these candles was that they were a beeswax blended candle. The blended part is probably where they snuck in some soy, right? And so that little bit of soy in those candles really does throw me off whack. And the reason why I feel it so drastically and so immediately is because I have completely eliminated soy from my life. There's no soy lecithin, there's no soybean oil, there's no soy products whatsoever, because they were making me very sick when I was transitioning through menopause, and now they're just totally not in my life. And so when something comes in like that I get zapped by, and it can be something like a candle, it can be some sort of, cleaning product in your home, it can be a lotion, it could be a hair care product, it could be a food, it will immediately throw your hormones into a tizzy, especially if you're repeating the exposure day in and day out, and it just gets worse, right? So many women are going to their doctors with complaints about hormonal signs and symptoms, right, because of menopause. But what if we could start to control a lot of those uncomfortable feelings and a lot of those uncomfortable side effects by just taking an inventory in our life? I'm a very, very educated person when it comes to nutrition and hormones, and I'm very, very experienced with what goes on in my body and what feels good and what doesn't feel good. And I immediately know. It took about 4 days for me to pinpoint the problem. And as soon as I eliminated it, my body went back to normal. I didn't have to do anything desperate. I didn't have to do anything extreme. And I'm sitting here today talking to you on Monday, the same way I talked to you last Monday before I started to feel sick, feeling absolutely fantastic. Had I not connected the candle, had I not had this experience, I probably would have progressively gotten worse, and I would have blamed it on food, right? Or I would have blamed it on something else and would not have made that simple connection that it was simply a candle that had a blend of oils in it that was not, my body cannot break down and tolerate. And yes, it is because of menopause. My hormones have changed. And soy is one of those things that is just a nasty, nasty hormone disruptor for me. And I know it is for a lot of women who have done the exercises that I teach in class and have eliminated that soy out of their life. So if you're feeling like you're hovering around this place of hormonal imbalance and you're doing everything nutritionally, if you're doing everything in your fitness correctly, if you're, everything in your life seems like you're doing all the right things and you're not getting the results that you feel like you should get, or you're not finding the relief that you feel that you should be getting, do an inventory of your entire life. Read every single nutrition label. Read every single product label. This happened to me again last year. And again, every time it happens, I learn something, so I'm able to catch it so much quicker. But it happened last year when a company sent me some skincare products, all natural, non-toxic, no parabens, like all the trigger words that we look for when we're putting things on our skin. Because again, remember, when we put things on our skin, that is also a feasting opportunity. Our skin is going to absorb that and it's going to go into our system. So I use the skincare because on the surface, everything looked legit, just like the beeswax candle. Then I started using it at the same sort of process. Day 1, everything seemed to be okay. Day 2, I started to feel a little off. Day 3, I started to feel sick. And by day 4, I was a hot mess again. Putting on water weight, I put on again like 4 or 5 pounds of water weight. My whole entire body felt inflamed. I felt very emotionally unbalanced. Like one day I was happy, one day I was sad, one day I wanted to be around people, one day I didn't want anybody to talk to me. Like it was just that whole roller coaster of emotions, and I didn't feel good. So then I went to my product. I went online and did a deeper dive into the ingredients label, and deep inside the ingredients was soy, but it was listed as soya, right? Not even soy. And so eliminated it, washed my face. Within a day or 2, my body went back to normal. So if you're feeling out of balance, you deserve to do some inventory. Read everything. Notice when you do one particular thing, how does your body feel? When it's been a couple of days of exposure, the feeling becomes very, very immediate, and it's almost like it just hits you in the face. If you're starting to notice those things, it could have nothing to do with the fact that you're in menopause, but menopause is almost that gift, right? That makes our body very hyper aware of what's no longer working for us because we're in that state of change. add in the layer of intermittent fasting where you don't do anything to interrupt those hormones, then when you decide to do something, your body will tell you almost immediately what's not working for you. So you get the state of balance from what you're doing with intermittent fasting. Your body zeroes itself out and resets. And then when you start making choices and you put things in, on, or around your body will be very, very vocal about what is and what isn't working. So today I'm totally back to normal. That was 1 week span of time, right? From starting to feel sick after Monday, like starting on Tuesday, kind of hitting that peak about Wednesday, identifying what could be the problem on Thursday, eliminating the problem by Saturday. I felt great. Like literally, I felt the water just completely rush out of my body. Body's back to normal, weight's back to normal, feelings back to normal, brain's back to normal, emotions back to normal. Everything's fine. It was just a beeswax blended candle that had something in it that was making me sick. Okay, so let me see what kind of questions we have here. Ask away, you guys. This is the time where I can hopefully either point you in a direction to do some further research, or I can ask some questions of you also to see if we can pinpoint what might be a problem for you. So many women are going out and getting on prescription medication to ease the signs and symptoms of menopause. Menopause, just like anything else, when you put a prescription on top of it, it is just, the medicine is only going to help alleviate how the symptoms feel, but they're not going to get rid of them. What I really want us to do here in this community is figure out how to get rid of the symptoms on our own so that we don't have to rely on medication to do that for us. There's always something that we can find within our environment or our daily habits, or maybe just some things that we've just done over time and haven't thought about them. This would have not affected me 20 years ago the way it affects me today. I used to have soy candles in my home all the time, right? But when I think about it, like I also had infertility issues when I had soy candles in my house, and those could have been contributing to some of those problems as well. Or if you have bad PMS and you're still menstruating, could it be some of these things that we have in our environment that could be wreaking havoc on us? Teresa, hi, Di. I needed to hear this today. Thank you. You're welcome, girlfriend. Don't beat yourself up. If something feels off, take the time to do the inventory in your life, right? There's so many products today that we can replace that are going to be better suited for you. You do not have to 100% go without. I am on a desperate search for clean candles because I love having candles in my home, especially around the fall and the winter time. Like candles are not the problem. It's what's in the candle that could be the problem. And so as soon as I find a good candle, I will definitely share that with you guys here. PJ Beck Bowden, that's Peggy, I believe. Happy to join this morning. So good to have you with us, girlfriend. I haven't seen you around here in a while, and I always love having you with us. Jackie, good morning. Marie, Diane, class of April 2017. I love it when you guys come back. Hopefully you're still doing well. Teresa, I am finding I can't handle anything that is soy or anything from soy in my cosmetics or facial cleansers. Immediate inflammation. Yes, girlfriend. And I'm so glad that you're making that connection. Remember, soy is a very cheap filler product, right? And there are a lot of companies who do things like vegetable blend or beeswax blend because they don't want to make soy the first thing that you see, because a lot of people are looking for this. There are a lot of companies now who are eliminating soy, and that should also be one of those aha moments that we have, that why are so many food companies, why are so many cosmetics companies advertising that things are soy free, right? Because that is marketing also. And so many people are now making that connection between soy and illness, especially a lot of women, right? So make sure you're reading those ingredients labels and make sure that you are doing your due diligence, especially if you're hovering around that place of just not looking and feeling your best. There's something that's going on in your everyday life very innocently that could be holding you in that place, and you deserve to look and feel your best. So let's just get it out and switch in something else. Vidya, good job, but I am sorry to hear what happened to you. Thank God you solved the problem. Yeah, you know, I always look at these things as blessings, right? because I can teach you guys something, and I'm very, very attuned to when it happens very quickly. I kept telling my husband, like, there's something. What did I do? What did I bring in the house? What did I bring in the house? I knew it wasn't food, because my food is very rinse and repeat. You guys know that. So it was something that I had brought in that was new. And that's usually when it happens, when I'm like, oh, I think I'll go try this thing. So the other thing I'm trying is a new detangling spray for my hair. And I did them both at the same time. So here's what I teach. Take everything out that's new. Give yourself a week or so. When you start to feel normal again, when you start to feel like yourself, the inflammation is gone, then you test one thing at a time. I didn't even want to test the candles. I got those out of here because those were so obvious. So now I'm going to take this week to stay normal, to not put anything in that could cause an irritation or an inflammation or a reaction. And then next week, I'm going to test the new hair detangling spray I tried and see if the feeling comes back. And if it does, I'm going to get rid of that. And if it doesn't, then I know, in fact, it was just the candle. So when you bring multiple things in, that's what I recommend. Take everything out, get your body back to the reset point, and then test one product at a time. Test it for an entire week. The more your body has reset itself, the sooner you will start to feel out of whack, right? And so, because when you feel really great and then you do something to make your body not feel so great, it's an immediate feeling and you'll notice it. So that's my tip for that one for sure. Sananya, I think it is. I am on HRT. Should I be wary of anything? I had an early onset of menopause at the age of 48. I personally don't use HRT. I have had some complications with hormones and my system. And so my doctor doesn't want to run the risk with hormone replacement therapy, nor do I. And I have heard mixed stories with HRT. Some people actually love it. Some women have taken it and then regretted it because some other things had happened to them. I also follow a lot of experts. You hear some experts say HRT is the best thing since sliced bread. And then you hear other doctors and experts say they wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole. They wouldn't give it to their mom. They wouldn't give it to their daughter. They wouldn't give it to their sister. So HRT is a very, very personal choice. I always say, do your research and then make the best decision based on what it is that you want to get from them. And if they're giving you that, then you've probably made the right choice for you. I don't like to give advice on them because I don't have any personal recommendation or personal history or experience with them. And again, I listen to two camps. And so I can't tell you pro or con because I think both of the arguments are very fair. Rita, hello, girlfriend, June 2019. I love having you back. And Nathalie, hi, when you say no soy, does this apply to food? As a vegan, it is a very challenge. Yeah, I can't do soy at all. If you're using soy for like a protein, the one thing I always recommend is that we don't need as much protein as we once thought we did. So you might not need it in any big quantity. And there's a lot of pea proteins and a lot of other vegan sources of protein out there as well, other than soy. So again, it's that thing. If you're feeling like you're not a 100% feeling your best, then I would take all the soy out, see what your life is like without it, and then add it back in and then see how your body responds to it. That's the best advice I can give on that. I cannot have anything soy, not in my food, not in my products, not in my life in any way, shape, or form. It absolutely turns my life upside down. So if you're feeling inflamed, if you're feeling out of balance, if you're struggling through menopause, I would take all soy out, give it a week or so, and then slowly start adding some things in. The problem with a lot of vegans and soy products is you're eliminating meat, which I understand that's a choice people make, but you're adding in oftentimes a lot of highly processed foods. And processed foods, whether you're a vegan or a carnivore or a paleo or whatever it is you decide to eat, genre-wise with food, processed food isn't good for anyone, even if you're a vegan. So be very, very wary of that too. If you're buying a lot of products that are meat-like, but they have soy in them to serve the vegan community, you're just eating a bunch of highly processed food, and that's never going to serve you well. So look into that as well. Okay, so hopefully this will help someone. you should be able to wake up every day looking and feeling your best, even through menopause, even postmenopausally. So if you're not, or if something suddenly changed and you feel like your body's holding on to inflammation, or you had a really sudden weight gain and nothing else in your life has changed, do an inventory of your life. Have you bought new products in? Have you been exposed to maybe something in a restaurant? I am very, very diligent when I go out. If a restaurant uses vegetable oil and they cannot 100% tell me that there's no soy in it, I usually don't eat at that restaurant, because there's nothing worse than going out and spending money on food and then spending the next couple of days just feeling completely like crap. So get diligent about it. You deserve it as a consumer to make sure that the products that you're using, the products that you're spending your money on, are not going to also be the products that are going to make you sick and then headed to the doctor's office to get put on some prescriptions to help alleviate symptoms that could be completely gone out of your life if you just make some product changes. Okay, I hope this serves someone today. If you know someone who you think could benefit from this type of information, please share this content. Whether you're on Facebook or whether you are on YouTube, the more we can inform women about these very, very simple little changes, the more we can help women really live a happy and healthy life as we're going through this change that we're going through. Yvonne, I am plant-based and I'm okay with organic sprouted tofu and organic soybeans. Everyone is different. Got a test. June 2017 class. Yeah, that's why I say take it out for a week and then add one product in at a time, because it might not even be, for some people, it may not be soy. It may be the product that has soy in it and how that product is actually processed. So do the test. You deserve it for sure. And like I said, I listen to both sides of every argument that goes on in the nutrition world and the menopausal world and the world of women and taking care of ourselves. And I find validation in both sides of the argument. So that's where it has to be a personal choice, and you have to test it out. I would have never, ever in a million years thought that my edamame or my miso soup was making me sick, right? Because I was like, Yvonne, I got everything sprouted, I got everything organic, and it was making me sick. So you have to test things on your body and then make a really, really informed decision about how it is you want to move forward with the purchases that you're making in your life, because it's important, right? And we need to make sure that the money that we're spending, the things we're spending our money on, and the resources that we're putting into our life are going to be the ones that make us happy and healthy for the long run, and not short and sick in the short term. Okay, love you guys. Let's see, Mindy, new here. I don't count calories, but wondering if you have advice on what our daily caloric intake should be, minimum or maximum. Absolutely no, I don't have any advice on that. Again, calories, macros, all those things are very personal. I don't count calories. I don't manage macros. I eat intuitively. I'm fasting, anywhere from 18 to 22, 23 hours a day. I just eat when I eat. You don't have to really worry about calories anymore. I guarantee you will never get it right. You'll either be eating too much or you're not eating enough, and it'll drive you crazy. So the best advice I could give you is eat very, very, like one ingredient, natural, like in its natural state kind of food. Save the fancy, things for when you go out, and then just let your body tell you what it is you need to eat. Calorie counting and macro counting they're just a guesstimation, right? No one's going to know your body more than you. So play around with it. Don't get too wrapped up in trying to be perfect about it, and just let your body kind of guide you where you need to go for sure. And then fasting is a great opportunity for caloric consumption as well, believe it or not. I teach all that in class as well. So your body has an opportunity to feast off of itself when you're in a fasted state, and that also helps eliminate the need for calorie counting also. So hope you guys have a great Monday. I will be live on Instagram on Tuesday and then back here on Thursday. Make sure you've subscribed and are following along. I love having you guys here in our community, and then I will see you guys somewhere around the internet this week. Have a great one.